Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dinesh Mishra, and we are here in Kannur at Jairaj Ispat Limited, and we are happy to meet Mrs. Rashri Jain, Director Jairaj Ispat Limited. It's good to meet you, Rashri ma'am, and thank you for giving us time.
Of course.
And I know it's a busy day, so we will ask uh, quick questions,
Sure.
and we'll try to uh, show people the products, the capabilities, the technology what we are having in this facility, because I have not got time to move around. And ladies and gentlemen, we will later on share the feedback of the experience of the plant and the technology. To start the conversation, ma'am, we wanted to ask, can you take us through the journey of yourself into the iron and steel industry, and what inspired you to join this company?
So Jairaj Ispat was founded by my father. And I think from a very young age, I've been very fascinated with the manufacturing of steel, iron and steel, while just visiting our original plant in Hyderabad. And I decided when I was, in school itself that I would like to pursue this if I've been given the opportunity. So, post my high school education, I went and I pursued finance and accounting from the US. And I did work there for about a year to gain experience. And that's after that, I decided to come back and join my father at Jairaj. So, I joined in the year 2005 and I've continued till now. We did a lot of expansion post that. We set up the Bellary plant. And then 2018 is when we started planning for this mega steel plant in Karnool.
Before we dive deep in the machine technology and the history of the company, you are one of the few women in steel, especially in manufacturing. We find less women joining the workforce, and since what inspired you, and what are the challenges you have faced in this particular sector? Because, like you said, like manufacturing is a very demanding, and that also iron and steel, there are very few women both.
Yeah. So the steel industry in general has been a more of a male dominated industry. When I joined in 2005, there were certainly very few women who were in a leadership position. I think even today there are a few, but it is quite low in numbers. And initially, I think the biggest challenge I faced was, where you have to earn your credibility, especially when it comes to your technical know how. I was not from a technical background, so I did have to, even though I came in at a leadership position of, handling the finance and the accounting and new project development, I did have to work very hard in understanding technologies, understanding the process. And I mean, as cliched as it may sound, I did have to prove myself. But it was not a challenge that I could not overcome.
Okay. And can you let our audience know more about the history of the company, its legacy?
Yes. So the company was founded by my father in 1985. He moved from Kolkata to Hyderabad and he set up a small induction furnace. And then in 97, we set up a rolling mill to manufacture TMT bars. We were the first in Hyderabad to manufacture thermomechanically treated bars. And in the year 2000, my father also pioneered the technology of putting continuous casting with induction furnace. And after that, we set up a sponge iron DRI unit in Bellary in 2008. And I think our flagship plant, which is this Karnool plant, we started the planning in 2018 and we began operations in 2025.
And can you let us know more about the products which you manufacture, or the line of products which you?
So we started with my father started in 85 with ingots, and then we moved to TMT bars and billets. Then we started producing DRI in Bellary, and we are continuing our finished product even in Kurnool, our TMT bars. And we, our vision is to produce the highest and the best quality TMT bars in the country. So that's what.
Like you said, you are producing one of the best. And off the record, before starting the interview, we were talking about the technology, the quality of machines, the automations. So can you let us know more about the machines technology which you are using in this facility?
Sure. So this this is South Asia's third integrated primary steel plant. We use the blast furnace route of steel making. And along with the blast furnace, we have put a EOF, which is traditionally it was always used to make alloy steel. So we are actually the first manufacturer in the world to use EOF, which is an energy optimizing furnace, to make mild steel, which is what is used to make TMT bars. This helps us control the chemical properties and reduce the impurities even further. As you can imagine that the technology that is being used to make special alloy steel is being used to make TMT bars. So we have the EOF, we have LRF, and then we have the endless casting and rolling by Danieli. It is the MIDA technology. We're the first in India to establish this plant.
And ma'am, as India is growing, a lot of steel, a lot of manufacturing is happening. So, how do you see the overall market growing, according to you? And I want to add one more. And which all industry you see are very crucial and growing for Jara Steel?
So I personally believe that India's growth story is written in steel. And if just to give you a little background, today India's per capita steel consumption is around 100 kgs. China's per capita steel consumption is about 600 kgs. And the world average is about 250, 300 kgs. So, you can tell just by that India has a lot of catching up to do, and there's a lot of potential to move from 100 kgs to at least, I think, seeing India's growth story, it's reasonable to expect that the per capita steel consumption is going to touch 300 kgs in the next 5 to 10 years. Even currently, I think India is producing about 140 million tons of steel. The government has actually mandated that they would like the steel production to come up to 300 million tons by 2030. And I think that is only going to be possible with not just the major steel players adding greenfield capacity, but strong regional players like Jairaj, who have the capability and the capacity to invest and to mindfully add production production and capacity, and who have a regional connect with the consumers and the customers. So I think that is where the steel growth story and success story of India is written. When it comes to from where I see the demand for steel coming is definitely, government-led push on infrastructure is incredible right now. They are, year on year, they are adding capex to improve and to add the infrastructure, be it roads, highways, bridges, railway lines, airports. Across you can see these infrastructure growths, which all require huge amounts of quantities of steel and various different kinds of steel. Second is the housing demand, the real estate development, and I'm seeing a higher demand and growth happening now in tier 3, 4 cities. There is obviously a lot of development that has already happened in tier 1. Tier 2 is also, quite moving ahead. But I think the actual growth will come when you see major development push in tier 3, tier 4.
That means Viksit Bharat 2047 mission will help, all the industry as well as the demand for steel and all.
Definitely, and even we were talking earlier about the government's Make in India push. So that itself is pushing manufacturing in India, and more manufacturing units coming up. The need for warehousing, everything. So all these require construction and construction material like steel and cement.
And sustainability is not a buzzword for anyone. In every department, whether it's day-to-day life or a manufacturing setup, a lot of sustainability norms are coming, and like the message has to come from the top, like leaders like you. So, what sort of sustainability goals or initiative Jairaj is taking for this plant and overall?
Definitely, our vision is to continuously innovate in such a way that we keep reducing our carbon footprint. Steel in general is obviously not a zero emission industry, but we have to keep moving forward through technological advancements. Like we have the energy optimizing furnace, which reduces our fuel and energy consumption. We also have a rainwater harvesting reservoir on 45 acres. So this we are harvesting the rainfall of in a single year gives us our water requirement for the entire year. So a single rain season, we are pretty much self-reliant to run the entire year. Also, things like these technologies that reduce wastage. That itself is achieving some kind of sustainable goals. So I think when it comes to industry like steel, we have to keep innovating to improve our sustainability and to reduce our carbon footprint.
And what are the goals for Jairaj for, like we say in our boardrooms, 5-year plan, 10-year plan. But like I say, these days, top companies, they plan well in advance. Like of that about, or, before that we started, we spoke how look at certain technology before, like Danieli, for example. You were very keen when you want to start up a plant, you want to have a infrastructure like this, technology like this.
Exactly.
So, how do you see 5 years for Jairaj, and what all plans or without numbers, because I know numbers are not.
No, that's okay. I mean, see, we are at Jairaj, I think, is really at a very defining moment in its corporate life cycle. We have taken a very big plunge with setting up the Karnool unit. And this unit is spread right now over 450 acres. And, we have, the government has assured us that, further expansion, they have given us another 600 acres. I mean, they have set it aside for us. So once we plan the next phases, but as the future I see in the next 6 years, our target is to make Jairaj a plant produce in Karnool itself to produce about 5 million tons of steel and have a basket of products like not just TMT bars, but we would like to go into special alloy steels and wire rods and other products.
And we never see that a tavern or a big manufacturing setup happens in and around area. A lot of infrastructure development jobs you are giving out to the local community. I wanted to ask, what all CSR initiative? I know you will be doing 100 things, but what are the in that regard? What all we are doing?
No, certainly. See, we were the first company to come to set up their unit in this industrial hub, which was inaugurated by the AP government called Oracle Mega Industrial Hub. We're the first industry to come here. And we have provided job opportunities to more than 1,000 people locally, not just locally, but also from outside the state or outside Karnool. We've also taken up the welfare of a nearby village. So I think recently we started work on their sewage treatment and everything. And our future is to really help that village develop, grow, hopefully build some school and a hospital and those kind of facilities.
And people say don't put all your eggs in one basket. Supply chain is something which is very important. which as a country also India, about all this global tension. How do you, minimize or, plan your supply chain? Because, yeah, you need a lot of raw material.
Yeah, our major raw material is iron ore, and India is very rich in its iron ore resources. So we get most of our iron ore either comes from NMDC or which is in Karnataka. So it comes from there, from our local. In all our Indian mines is providing all the iron ore for us.
Last two questions. I know you have a very big one. Uh, uh, Startup is what everybody talking about, and a lot of young people are coming out of colleges or not. What is your view of people coming to startup in manufacturing? Because like you say, manufacturing is a very capital intensive industry. So what is the message for a startup for success? I know there is no mantra of any company to succeed, but few tips, few advices. If somebody coming fresh out of the college, what are the certain 1, 2, 3 points has to be done?
Certainly, I think if I think manufacturing is a very interesting, challenging industry, like line to get into, and I feel that the younger generation coming have a lot of opportunities in manufacturing, and I think India's manufacturing is just being written now, and it's only going to grow. My advice to them, and which I have always believed in when it comes to manufacturing, is to quality, cost. These are the two things. Control your costs and maintain your quality.
And lastly,
People will keep talking about marketing. You need to sell. I'm like, if your quality is good, and if your costs are in check, the product will sell. If your pricing is right, it will sell. That's not something you run behind.
and any message for our readers, like on maybe Nari Shakti, the girls, the young girls who are coming, who are joining mechanical, because like I work with a lot of colleges and everybody has a complaint that very few women are joining mechanical. Everyone wants to go IT and all. So people, as a woman or a girl who is passing out their engineering, uh, what will be your message? Is this industry exciting, whether it's automotive, aerospace, women in manufacturing?
Yes, I think it's a very exciting phase. I truly believe that the traditional gender occupation based genders are now being broken, and more women are entering more of these engineering, technology, manufacturing field. For me, it will be very inspiring, and I would love to see women engineers on the shop floor, um, even in other leadership roles in the steel industry. And I'm always looking to mentor that kind of talent. And I think the younger women in this should not be fearful about joining such industries.
So, yeah, manufacturing is not boring. It's an exciting.
Yes.
I'm saying, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Do read our upcoming issue of Dynamic Manufacturing India, where we have a detailed, interview with ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Have a late day.
You too. Thank you. Thanks.